Episode 158. The four of them flew off from the spot one after another, heading straight in the direction from which the Yan siblings had come. After flying for several dozen miles, the group came to a stop in a place nestled between two small peaks. Yan Yu then produced a token-like object from his person, gripped it tightly with both hands, and channeled his spiritual power into it. Instantly, a vast expanse of hazy yellow radiance shot from the token, streaking straight toward the empty void ahead. Where there had been only empty air, the yellow light swept across, and instantly, a brilliant five-colored radiance bloomed into existence. Then, as the five-colored radiance faded, Han Li and the others found their vision clearing. An incredibly majestic ancient treasure now stood where the mountain ridge had been empty before. Gazing up at the massive walls, some 30 or 40 jang high, and the countless grand, ancient-style buildings visible within, Han Li and Dong Xuan both found the sight utterly novel, their eyes struggling to take it all in.
This is one of our Yan clan's most important sites, Yanming Fortress. Welcome, junior brother Han and junior sister Dong.
Han Li smiled and was about to say something when Dong Xuaner, standing beside him, suddenly let out a surprised sound. Her gaze fixed on a spot within the colossal fortress. Seeing her expression, Han Li naturally followed her gaze. At a platform like a training ground in a corner of the castle, two men in different attire were floating, locked in a standoff. One of them wore the Yan family's brown attire, a man with a fierce and imposing appearance. The other man had a head of curly hair and beard, with gray eyes and dark, sun-baked skin. He wore a strange turquoise-green robe. Around them, a massive white light barrier shimmered faintly, almost imperceptibly. Outside the light barrier, people stood scattered about in clusters here and there. The most conspicuous were two groups of people, each wearing matching uniforms. The first group stood in perfect, silent formation, clearly well-trained. They were the Yan clan. The other group all wore green robes like the curly-bearded man in the air. Most had the same gray eyes and yellow hair, though a few ordinary faces were mixed in among them. Han Li took a clear look, and his own face registered surprise. He couldn't help but glance at the Yan siblings beside him. But before Han Li could ask, Yan Yu's expression turned awkward at the sight, while Yan Ling beside her clenched her fists.
They're challenging again already? And they're going so hard. They really are strong.
Are these people guests of the Yan family?
Of course not. These guys showed up uninvited. They injured the two brothers, Little 16 and Little 15, who were on reception duty right off the bat. And they absolutely insisted on participating in the treasure hunt tournament. I don't know what the elders were thinking actually agreeing to this. It's infuriating.
Yan Ling ignored Yan Yu's warning look this time, chattering away like a burst of beans as she vented a fit of girlish temper. Han Li listened and could only shake his head with a silent laugh. Yan Yu, meanwhile, looked thoroughly embarrassed, at a complete loss for words.
So this is the culprit that kept us waiting on the mountain peak. I wonder if senior brother Yan Yu could enlighten me on the details.
This time, Han Li didn't even need to ask. Dong Xuaner, her own curiosity piqued, began to pour on the charm for Yan Yu. After a moment's hesitation, he readily agreed.
These people arrived at our Yanming fort this morning. When they got to the reception area outside the walls, they didn't even bother to assess the situation before trying to force their way in, and they injured two of our disciples who were on duty. But then other disciples who got the call for help arrived. They were all set to teach these guys a proper lesson. But then the visitors pulled out some letters and tokens. The leading elders took one look, their expressions turned serious, and they just swallowed their pride and invited them inside. But once inside, they didn't settle down at all. They immediately challenged the Yan family to a sparring match. After some discussion, the elders seemed to want to teach them a lesson, so they agreed. And they set the terms. 10 matches in total, all to be fought by Foundation establishment disciples. I'd already fought several matches before I went to see the two of you. But the results...
Yan Yuqing shook her head, her expression dimming. It was obvious, without even asking, that the Yan family was on the losing side.
It's normal for there to be some casualties in a contest, but these people, who knows what kind of cultivation they practice, they're all proficient in sinister demonic arts and poisons. Every disciple who loses to them either collapses in a dead faint for no reason or suffers a severe, insidious poisoning. Their injuries are all tricky, not easily treated. Fortunately, these individuals, being guests within the Yanling fortress, have shown some restraint. No disciple has yet died from their grievous injuries. That, at least, is a small mercy in this unfortunate situation. It's truly mortifying that you two had to witness such a scene from our Yan family.
But when we left, we heard the elders were getting restless. They've already sent for the Yanwu Hall disciples under my brother's command. Those are our Yan family's elite, trained in secret techniques. They'll definitely teach these people a harsh lesson.
Yan Ling couldn't help but chime in, giving a little pump of her fist.
Nonsense. What kind of girl spends all her time thinking about fighting and killing? We've already brought this group of guests back. Have Uncle Li send out the next wave of welcoming disciples right away. Don't keep the other guests waiting.
Yan Yu's face hardened as she scolded her younger sister, then sent the somewhat disgruntled girl on her way.
With the recent influx of guests, it's a mixed crowd. So we of the Yan family have activated part of the fortress's restriction array. A few key areas within the fort have had their energy arts restricted, including message talismans. My younger sister will have to make the trip in person. My sister and I weren't originally on reception duty, but we're critically short-handed in the fort now. With these unwelcome guests showing up, we've had to step in and help.
After speaking, Yan Yu's expression darkened as he glanced into the distance, where the Yan family disciples and the strange man were already locked in a magical battle.
So, senior brother Yu is an elite disciple of the Yan clan. You must be highly valued there.
A captivating light danced in Dong Xuan's eyes as she smiled, her already lovely features suddenly blooming with a bewitching charm that left Yan Yu across from her momentarily spellbound.
Well, I suppose you could say that.
Yan Yu had no idea what he was even saying. He just thought Miss Dong was too beautiful. She was the spitting image of his dream girl.
Brother Yan, would it be convenient to go and observe the matches over there?
Dong Shunner found his expression quite amusing. She let out a few light, crisp laughs and was about to tease him some more. But before she could get another word out, Han Li, standing beside her, suddenly spoke up, cutting her off.
I'd like to see just who dares to cause trouble at the Yan family.
To watch. Of course you can. The one facing him this time is my cousin. He's a master of the Dao arts in the martial hall, easily ranking in the top 10. He'll definitely give that guy a taste of his own power.
Roused by Han Li, Yan Yu was taken aback for a moment, then agreed without the slightest hesitation. Han Li heard this and smiled inwardly. He knew the other party had no real grounds to stop him, and on top of that, felt they had a great chance of winning this time. That's why they were being so agreeable. And so, the three of them descended near the dueling grounds and walked toward the crowd of spectators. As they got a bit closer, Han Li was surprised to find over 100 cultivators gathered around, and judging by their attire, most of them weren't local to Yue country. It was quite strange indeed. Han Li was deeply puzzled, but as a guest, he couldn't ask too many questions. He had to keep his doubts to himself and pretend he hadn't noticed a thing. As for Dong Xuaner beside them, she continued to laugh and chat merrily with Yan Yu, but the faint glimmer of astonishment in her eyes did not escape Han Li's notice.
It seems she's not just a pretty face after all.
But this willful girl, for reasons unknown, had no intention of asking about the hidden scheme either, just like Han Li. This left Han Li feeling rather frustrated.
Ah, Xuaner, you're here too. That's wonderful. I thought Master Hongfu wouldn't let you out.
As the trio passed by, a handsome male cultivator ahead of them happened to turn his head and caught sight of Dong Xuaner. His face immediately lit up with wild delight, and he strode over in a few quick steps. As soon as the man rushed over, Dong Xuaner's smile froze, and Yan Yu's expression turned displeased, her gaze beginning to flicker uncertainly. As an outsider, Han Li's expression remained completely unchanged, showing not a hint of surprise.
This one is probably the guest of honor from Dong Xuaner's past. But he has the surname Feng. Could he be that Feng kid my master's wife mentioned last time?
Ah, senior brother Feng. I truly didn't expect Uncle Du would have you participate in this grand assembly.
Dong Xuaner's strange expression vanished in a flash. Her eyes darted about, and then she greeted him with open, casual ease, as if he really were just an ordinary friend. This visibly improved Misty Rain's mood, but Brother Feng was taken aback for a moment before finally noticing Misty Rain and Han Li standing beside Dong Xuaner. Han Li, for his part, simply offered a faint smile when the gaze landed on him, and took a deliberate half-step away from Dong Xuaner at his side, a clear gesture of innocence. Yan Yu, however, met his gaze without a hint of courtesy. With that, the identity of her rival was perfectly clear to senior brother Feng. His face instantly darkened as he sized Han Li up with a critical eye. Han Li found the whole scene rather amusing, but also a bit puzzling.
Wasn't the rumor that Dong Xuaner and the senior brother Feng had long intended to pursue dual cultivation? But now this shrewish girl isn't showing any favoritism toward him. Could the rumors be wrong?
Han Li gave it a brief thought, then dismissed the matter entirely. He wasn't about to waste brainpower on idle gossip. So Han Li took a few steps forward, leaving the other three behind. He couldn't care less about the rivalry and jealousy between senior brother Feng and Yan Yu, nor was he interested in how Dong Xuaner was playing them off against each other. He was now utterly captivated by the battle unfolding within the light. Yan Yu really wasn't boasting. His cousin was indeed formidable, wielding Earth-attribute Taoist arts with masterful skill. Millstone-sized rocks, each a yard across, flew from his palms in a relentless, seemingly endless barrage hurled straight at his opponent. Before him, a triangular yellow banner stood upright, summoning a swirling gale of yellow wind that wrapped around him, forming an impenetrable defense. But the green-robed man opposite him was not to be outdone. Several streams of ink-black energy erupted from his body, howling and dancing like venomous snakes. They wove a dense, impenetrable black net before him, rebounding all the stones back the way they came. Sometimes, the rocks even rebounded right back at the Yan clan elite, forcing him into a frantic scramble. As for magic tools, 6 or 7 stark white skulls floated around him, their purpose unclear. And so, with one pressing the attack and the other holding firm in silence, a stalemate was reached. However, it was clear these two were still in a probing phase, not yet going all out, so, despite the spectacularly lively scene, they remained perfectly composed, unhurried and unruffled, not showing a single hint of strain. Han Li was watching intently when Dong Xuaner's voice suddenly reached his ears.
Senior brother Han, don't you agree?
But the moment that left his lips, Han Li knew he'd messed up. He whipped his head around to see the two rivals, who should have been glaring at each other, now both fixing him with a hostile stare, united in their sudden animosity. Clearly, he'd been set up by that troublesome woman.